My friend, listen closely, for I am about to reveal to you the twin pillars upon which every empire of success has been built: persistence and faith. These are not mere virtues, they are forces of creation itself. Without them, no man ever rose above the ordinary. With them, the impossible bends its knee before you. I have watched men of brilliance fall into the abyss of despair because they lacked persistence. I have seen men of average ability, armed with nothing but an unyielding will and burning belief, rise to command empires and shape nations. What then is the difference between failure and triumph? It is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is not circumstance. It is the steadfast refusal to quit when the world whispers, "You cannot." Persistence is the habit of victory. Faith is the vision of victory. One fuels the other. They are the heartbeat of every dream that ever dared to live. The law of the unseen effort. Before a seed breaks the soil, it wrestles with darkness beneath the ground. No man sees the battle it wages against the weight of the earth, nor the silent agony of its first movement toward the light. And yet, that hidden struggle is the very proof of life. So, it is with your dreams. There will be seasons when you labor in silence, unseen by men, unpraised by the world. Your results may appear meager, your progress invisible, but know this: the invisible growth of your faith and persistence is the very foundation of your future greatness. The world often celebrates harvests, but it forgets the seasons of planting, watering, and waiting. The man of persistence does not forget. He knows that each effort, no matter how small, moves him closer to destiny. He knows that behind every resistance is a hidden opportunity to grow stronger, clearer, and more disciplined. The enemy called. Discouragement. Let us speak plainly. Discouragement is the assassin of dreams. It enters quietly, dressed in the garments of logic, whispering, "You have tried enough." But I tell you, it is not logic that leads to mastery. It is faith that defies logic. When the path grows long and the nights darker, that is the moment when persistence must become your companion and faith your shield. Say to yourself, "This too shall pass, but I shall not." For every man who has reached greatness has walked through the valley of despair and refused to stop walking. Discouragement is not a sign to quit. It is a sign that you are close to breakthrough. The enemy never attacks what poses no threat. When you feel resistance, rejoice, for it means you are pressing upon new territory. The alchemy of faith. Faith is not a timid hope. It is the absolute knowing that the unseen is more real than what your eyes behold. It is the conviction that your desire, once conceived in the mind, has already been created in the invisible realm of potential, and that persistence is the bridge that will carry it into form. When faith is weak, persistence falters. When faith is strong, nothing can stand against you. To master faith, therefore, is to master life itself. Faith speaks when the senses are silent. Faith acts while others doubt. Faith says, "I see the mountain moved," even while the mountain still casts its shadow upon you. Faith is not waiting for evidence. It creates the evidence through relentless action. You must, therefore, cultivate your faith daily as you would tend a sacred fire. Feed it with affirmations, protect it from the winds of doubt, and let it illuminate your path when darkness surrounds you. The law of repetition and resilience. Persistence is not born in a day. It is forged in the furnace of repetition. Each time you rise after a fall, your spirit hardens against defeat. Each time you refuse to surrender, your mind grows more disciplined, your will more resolute. Consider the sculptor who strikes the stone 1,000 times before the form within reveals itself. The first blow seems to achieve nothing, as does the second, the third, the 100th. But on the 1,001st, the stone splits open, and the masterpiece emerges. So, it is with success. Every act of persistence builds invisible momentum until one day, the world beholds your sudden triumph, not knowing the years of silent labor that prepared it. Understand this truth. Every failure carries within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. If you persist long enough, life will always yield to your will. The partnership. Between desire and discipline, persistence without purpose is stubbornness. Faith without discipline is fantasy. The wise man unites all three: desire, discipline, and belief. Desire gives the vision, discipline gives the direction, faith gives the power. Together, they form an unbreakable trinity. You must, therefore, fix your desire upon a definite goal. Let it burn within you until it becomes an obsession. Then, harness discipline to guide that burning force, shaping it into constructive effort. And finally, anchor it with faith, the unwavering belief that the goal is already yours. It is this harmony that transforms mere effort into destiny. The moment of decision. There will come a day, perhaps soon, when you will stand at a crossroads. One path will invite you to retreat to comfort, to safety, to the mediocrity that most men call peace. The other will demand courage, sacrifice, and the willingness to walk alone for a time. Choose the second path, for though it begins in solitude, it ends in immortality. Every man who has ever done anything great has walked that road, armed with nothing but persistence and faith. You do not need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. Take it with conviction, and the next step will reveal itself. The man who waits for perfect certainty will wait forever. My friend, let this truth settle into your soul. Life yields herself only to those who refuse to yield to life. The mountain bows, only to the climber who will not turn back. Persistence is the fire that tempers your faith into steel. Faith is the vision that keeps that fire burning through the storms. Together, they form the engine of destiny, the divine machinery through which every dream is made real. And this is only the beginning. In the next part, I shall show you how to cultivate persistence until it becomes instinct, and how to turn faith from mere belief into a creative force that commands the very circumstances of your life. My friend, persistence is not an accident of temperament. It is a discipline of the spirit, built deliberately, one decision at a time. The man who seems naturally persistent is merely one who has trained his will as a soldier trains his body, through trial, repetition, and the refusal to surrender. You were not born weak. You were born with the same divine machinery that has lifted men from the gutters to the palaces of power. Yet this machinery must be awakened through conscious effort, for persistence, like a muscle, strengthens only when used, and if neglected, it atrophies beneath the weight of hesitation and fear. Let us therefore study the laws by which persistence is built, until it becomes as natural to you as breathing. The first law, a definite purpose, burns away doubt. No man can persist long in the pursuit of the vague. The mind cannot rally around uncertainty. A ship without a destination drifts endlessly upon the tides, and so does a man without a definite chief aim. To cultivate unbreakable persistence, you must first establish a purpose so clear, so commanding, that it ignites every cell of your being. It must be a purpose that calls to you in the night and greets you in the morning. Ask yourself, what do I want so deeply that failure is not an option? When that answer becomes your obsession, persistence ceases to be effort. It becomes nature. When your desire is definite, obstacles lose their power. The mind, fixed upon a single vision, ceases to debate whether the effort is worth it. It simply moves. The second law, build the habit of forward motion. The great illusion that defeats men is the belief that progress must always be visible. But the wise understand that motion, not outcome, is the true proof of persistence. Do not wait for enthusiasm to act. Act first, and enthusiasm will follow. Every small step in the direction of your goal strengthens your momentum. Every act of will is a deposit into your reservoir of power. Begin each day with a small victory. One promise kept, one task completed, one action taken in service of your vision. Let these daily triumphs become the rhythm of your existence, for persistence is not built in great bursts of effort. It is woven from the fabric of consistent motion. The third law, guard the gates of your mind. The persistent man is a warrior stationed at the fortress of his own thought. He knows that doubt and fear are subtle invaders, entering not through the door of logic, but through the cracks of fatigue, discouragement, and despair. Therefore, he stands watch. He feeds his mind with faith just as he feeds his body with food. He chooses carefully what words he speaks, what company he keeps, and what thoughts he entertains. If you associate with defeatists, your persistence will rot. If you surround yourself with believers, it will grow roots of steel. Never forget this truth. You become the echo of the voices you hear most often. Choose your echoes wisely. The fourth law, transform failure into fuel. There is a peculiar law in the universe. Those who resist failure perish by it. Those who embrace it are refined by it. The man who persists does not fear failure, for he understands its secret purpose: to educate, to strengthen, to strip him of weakness. Each disappointment reveals a flaw in his plan or a limitation in his character, and thus becomes his greatest teacher. Every failure is a mirror. Look into it not with shame, but with curiosity. Ask it, "What must I learn from you?" Then rise, improved, and continue the climb. Persistence is not the absence of failure, it is the mastery of recovery. The fifth law: bind yourself with commitment. There comes a moment when one must burn the bridges behind him. Until that moment, the mind toys with escape routes, the heart falters in the face of resistance. But when retreat becomes impossible, the spirit finds new strength. Decide, therefore, that you shall persist until you succeed, no matter how long it takes, no matter how great the cost. Write this decree upon your heart: I will never quit. I will never yield. I will bend every force within me toward my purpose until it becomes reality. You need not know how the final victory will come. You need only know that it will. The sixth law: master the rhythm of rest and renewal. Persistence is not mere stubborn endurance. It is intelligent continuation, the art of advancing without self-destruction. Even the warrior must sheath his sword to sharpen it. The mind, overdriven, loses clarity. The body, overworked, loses strength. Thus, persistence must be married to balance. Learn when to act and when to renew. Let rest be a servant to action, not an escape from it. The persistent man is not reckless. He is strategic. He knows that sustained effort requires sustained vitality. The seventh law: faith is the fuel of persistence. You cannot persist long in a cause you secretly doubt. Doubt corrodes effort. Faith transforms it into power. Every man who has achieved greatness has done so because he believed, utterly and without reserve, that his goal was possible. And that belief, when joined to persistent action, becomes creative energy, drawing to him the people, the opportunities, and the circumstances required for victory. Faith and persistence are thus bound in sacred union. Faith provides the vision, persistence provides the proof. When you feel your faith falter, act anyway. Action strengthens belief as surely as belief inspires action. Each feeds the other until together they make you unstoppable. The eighth law: stand upon the rock of decision. Indecision is the enemy of persistence. The man who hesitates at every crossroad divides his power. But the man who decides, truly decides, channels the full torrent of his will into one direction. When you decide, the universe conspires to assist you. Circumstances that once seemed hostile begin to align. But the door opens only to the man who has already crossed the threshold of commitment within himself. Therefore, make your decisions quickly and change them slowly, if ever. For hesitation is the graveyard of dreams. The ninth law: celebrate progress. However small, persistence is strengthened by recognition. Do not wait for the grand victory to rejoice. Rejoice in every inch gained. Each small success affirms the truth that you are moving forward, that your efforts bear fruit, however modest in size. Gratitude for progress magnifies persistence, for it keeps the fire of enthusiasm alive through long winters of effort. Remember, what you praise, you multiply. What you ignore, you lose. The 10th law: make persistence your identity. The final step, my friend, is to cease treating persistence as something you do, and begin seeing it as something you are. Say to yourself, I am persistence itself. I do not stop. I do not surrender. I move until the mountain moves. When persistence becomes your nature, effort ceases to feel heavy. The rhythm of success becomes your heartbeat, and the universe itself begins to recognize you, not as a wanderer in pursuit of victory, but as a co-creator of it. My friend, the moment you master these laws, you will no longer chase success. It will chase you, for the world cannot resist a man who refuses to be defeated. In the next part, I shall lead you deeper into the mystery of faith as a creative force, and how the invisible power of belief can bend the material world to the will of a persistent mind. My friend, faith is not a whisper of hope. It is the roar of creation itself. It is the invisible current that carries the persistent man from the realm of thought into the kingdom of manifestation. While persistence is the hammer that shapes destiny, faith is the forge that gives that hammer its heat. Every man who has ever risen from obscurity to greatness has done so because he dared to believe in something greater than circumstance. He refused to accept the verdict of appearances. He knew, deep within, that what is seen is born of what is unseen, and that thought, when fused with belief, commands the forces of the universe. Faith is not a luxury for dreamers. It is the lifeblood of achievement. Without it, effort becomes toil. With it, effort becomes creation. Let us, therefore, examine the nature of this mysterious force and learn how to wield it consciously, until faith itself becomes your greatest possession, the eternal law. Thought mixed with belief becomes power. The mind of man is not a container, it is a transmitter and receiver of energy. Every thought you think sends out a vibration, and when that thought is mixed with faith, its vibration gains intensity and direction. It is no longer a wandering breeze. It becomes a focused wind that moves the world. When you hold an idea with unwavering belief, you magnetize it. It draws to itself other thoughts, people, and conditions that harmonize with its nature. This is not mysticism, it is law. For all things vibrate according to their kind, and belief fixes your vibration at the frequency of your desired reality. Thus, the man of faith does not chase opportunity. He attracts it. He becomes a living magnet for that which he believes. If you would master this law, discipline your mind to dwell only upon that which you wish to experience. Speak only of success, expect only abundance, and never, never doubt the certainty of your cause. The two faces of faith, conscious and subconscious. Faith operates on two planes, the conscious and the subconscious. On the conscious plane, faith is the deliberate choice to believe. It is the moment you say, "Though I see no evidence, I shall act as though victory were already mine." But the deeper, more powerful faith lives in the subconscious mind. It is that quiet, unwavering conviction that no force on earth can shake. Once the subconscious accepts a belief as true, it works tirelessly, day and night, to bring it into reality. Your task, therefore, is to train your subconscious to believe in your vision as firmly as you do. How is this done? Through repetition, emotion, and visualization. Repeat your purpose daily. Speak it aloud with conviction. Feel the thrill of its fulfillment. See yourself living it in the theater of your imagination. The subconscious does not reason. It obeys. Feed it with faith, and it will build the world to match your belief. The law of emotionalized belief. The universe responds not to idle words, but to emotion-charged conviction. Faith without feeling is lifeless, like a flame without heat. When you affirm your goal, speak it with passion. Feel it in your bones. Let your imagination breathe life into it until the image glows with energy. Every emotion you attach to your desire becomes fuel. Love, gratitude, confidence. These are the holy fires that animate faith. Fear, doubt, resentment, these are the poisons that extinguish it. Therefore, guard your emotions as you would guard your treasure, for your feelings are the currency with which you purchase your future, the mirror of expectation. Expectation is faith in motion. It is the quiet assumption that what you desire must come to pass. The man who expects success prepares for it, walks toward it, and recognizes it when it arrives. The man who doubts, even slightly, walks past opportunities every day blinded by disbelief. Life gives you not what you wish for, but what you expect. If you expect greatness, you will find it, even in adversity. If you expect failure, you will find that too, even amidst abundance. Therefore, cultivate the habit of expectation. Before you sleep, expect progress. When you rise, expect favor. When you act, expect results. The world mirrors your inner assumption. Faith does not wait for signs, it creates them. The battle against fear. Fear is faith turned upside down. It is belief in the opposite of your desire. When you fear, you believe that harm is possible, and by that belief, you invite it. To master faith, you must transmute fear into its opposite. When fear whispers, "It cannot be done," answer, "Then I shall do it." When it says, "You are not enough," declare, I am more than enough, for I am one with infinite intelligence. Fear cannot live in the presence of purpose. The moment you fix your mind upon a definite aim and back it with action, fear dissolves. You cannot drive out darkness with more darkness. You must turn on the light. Faith is that light. The science of affirmation. Words, when charged with faith, are living forces. Every declaration you make conditions your subconscious and commands your environment. Affirmation is not mere repetition, it is spiritual declaration. It is the act of speaking your truth into the fabric of the universe until the universe must obey. Each morning, affirm your purpose with certainty. Say, I am guided by infinite intelligence. Every cell of my being moves towards success. I am persistent. I am unshakable. I am victorious. Say it not as a plea, but as a decree. Speak it until it becomes your reality, and your reality will bow to your words. Faith as a creative partnership with the infinite. There is a divine mind that permeates all things. You may call it God, the universe, infinite intelligence. It matters not the name, only that you recognize its presence. This infinite intelligence responds to the thoughts and beliefs of man. When your faith is pure, when it is unwavering and backed by purpose, you become a co-creator with this infinite power. The line between the possible and the impossible dissolves. You are not a beggar before life. You are an architect of it. Your thoughts are the blueprints. Your faith is the construction force. When you think richly, believe deeply, and act persistently, you align with the creative rhythm of the universe itself. Then, doors open where walls once stood. People appear as answers to unspoken prayers. Circumstances rearrange themselves in your favor, as though the very air were conspiring for your success. This is not magic. It is law. The law of mind. The paradox of faith and surrender. Faith, in its highest form, contains both action and surrender. Action declares, I am the master of my fate. Surrender whispers, and I trust the infinite to guide my way. To act without surrender breeds strain. To surrender without action breeds stagnation. But to combine the two, to work with all your might and then release the outcome with perfect trust, is the essence of mastery. The farmer does not dig up his seeds each morning to check their progress. He plants, he waters, he believes, and in time, the harvest comes. So must you. Faith transforms the ordinary into the divine. The man of faith does not wait for miracles. He becomes one. He transforms routine into ritual, work into worship, obstacles into stepping stones. His faith transmutes adversity into advantage, for he sees not what happens to him, but what happens for him. When faith rules your heart, every event becomes a servant to your destiny. Even defeat becomes a messenger of wisdom. For faith is not blind, it sees further than sight. My friend, the creative power of faith is not reserved for saints or sages. It lives within you, waiting only for recognition. When you unite faith with persistent action, you awaken a power that no force on earth can contain. You cease to be a victim of chance. You become a master of cause. In the next part, I shall reveal how to fuse persistence and faith into a single unstoppable force, so that every goal you set becomes a command to destiny itself. My friend, you have now walked with me through the valleys of effort and the mountains of belief. You have seen that persistence without faith is struggle, and faith without persistence is a dream unfulfilled. But when these two merge, when they become one living, breathing force within your soul, you touch the very essence of power. Faith gives direction, persistence gives duration. Faith lights the path, persistence walks it. Faith declares, it shall be done. Persistence replies, and I will not stop until it is. Together, they form a divine partnership that no adversity can defeat. This union is the engine of destiny, the power that transforms ordinary men into legends and fleeting wishes into living realities. The marriage of will and vision. Picture faith as the seed and persistence as the soil. Alone, each is incomplete. The seed without the soil cannot take root. The soil without the seed yields no harvest. But, when united, they awaken the miracle of growth. So, it is with your mind. Faith conceives the vision. Persistence nourishes it with action. Every effort, every sacrifice, every moment of discipline is a drop of rain upon the seed of your belief. And in due season, the harvest appears, not by chance, but by law. This is the quiet secret of all great achievers. They have learned to keep their faith alive through the storms, and their persistence burning through the nights of uncertainty. They act as though failure were impossible, and because they act thus, failure loses its power, the rhythm of unstoppable momentum. When persistence and faith are fused, they generate momentum, an invisible energy that builds with every act of will. Each time you persevere in faith, you strengthen this current, and once it begins to flow, it carries you with increasing speed toward your destiny. There comes a moment when effort turns effortless, when discipline becomes desire, when faith and persistence no longer feel like two forces, but one seamless rhythm. In that moment, you no longer chase success. You are a success in motion. The silence before victory. Do not be deceived by the silence that often precedes triumph. The world grows still just before it yields. The miner digs through rock after rock, seeing no gold, and then, in one final stroke, the treasure bursts forth. So it is with you. When the nights feel longest, when doubt creeps closest, know that the dawn of achievement stands just beyond that final push. Faith will whisper, "Hold on." Persistence will answer, "I am still here." And life, at last, will bow before your endurance. The circle of creation. Faith gives birth to action. Action sustains faith. This is the sacred circle of creation. Every time you act on faith, you prove its truth. Every proof strengthens your belief, and that belief fuels greater action. Thus, your progress accelerates, and success becomes inevitable, not by luck, but by the law of compounded conviction. Persist in faith, and faith will persist in you. The final lesson, the master. Within my friend, all that I have spoken, every principle, every law, has aimed at awakening you to a single realization. The master you seek is already within. Persistence is not something you must borrow from the world. It is the expression of your own divine will. Faith is not something you must find in others. It is the remembrance of who you truly are, a creator endowed with infinite power. When you know this, you cease to plead with fate. You begin to command it. You cease to wait for signs. You become the sign. Let others speak of luck, of timing, of chance. You will know that destiny bends to the man who fuses faith and persistence until they are indistinguishable from his own heartbeat. The quiet crown of mastery. And so, I say to you now, walk forth with calm assurance, not in haste, not in fear, but in quiet power. Let your faith be the compass, your persistence the journey, and your purpose the star that never fades. For the world has never denied the man who knows where he is going and refuses to stop until he arrives. The dreamer begins with hope. The believer walks with vision. But the master, the master, marches on with faith and persistence fused into certainty. That man cannot be defeated. He can only be delayed, and even delay to him is preparation. So go now and make your life a testament to these truths. Persist when others surrender. Believe when others doubt. Act when others wait. For the man who persists in faith becomes a living law unto himself. He commands the winds of circumstance, and his destiny, like iron before the flame, bends to his will. This, my friend, is the final, secret. Faith and persistence united make you unstoppable. And the moment you truly know this, the universe will know you as one of its creators.